Hello and good afternoon. I hope you are super well. Thank you so much for joining our live session on HSC success in health and movement science. Now, no matter where you are in New South Wales and no matter where you are on your PDHPE journey, especially as we embark our brand new health and movement science syllabus, no one really knows what success is going to look like in the HSC. But I want to reassure you that we don't need to reinvent the wheel with what we're doing. If you've had a look at our exam specification on the Curriculum New South Wales website for health and movement science, you will notice quite a few things. We have a 3-hour paper. Nothing's changed. We do have 5 minutes extra reading time, so 10 minutes reading time for the kids. And we have a number of multiple choice questions, 20 in fact. We're used to that, with a number of really direct questions for the kids to get warmed up, like we already have, and then building to higher order questions as we go through the multiple choice section. You will also notice a number of different statistics or scenarios or graphs that our kids might need to apply their understanding of. Not much has changed there. The content has tweaked a tiny little bit, but in terms of practice, in terms of skills that the kids need to know for the HSC, that hasn't changed a whole heap. So there's no point in getting too stressed out about what the HSC is going to look like in terms of structure, in terms of the skills that the kids still need. All those years that we've worked on, that you might have learned at uni or you've done yourself as a PE student, we can use all those skills to help our students succeed for success in health and movement science in this new era of PDHP in stage 6. In terms of the rest of the paper, we have a number of short answer questions ranging from 2 to about 8 marks. And then in the last section of the paper, it is really high order. So similar to what we might have seen in the options section, where the kids actually apply their understanding to like a situation or a scenario or a context for sport, very similar of what we're seeing now. The kids will have opportunities to show what they know in 2 questions that are worth 12 marks each. At this stage, things could look, a little different in terms of what that might look like moving forward. We could have, 2 6 markers. I'm not sure. There hasn't really been anything published to date for that. But it's really, really, really reassuring. And we've mentioned this inside our Health and Movement Science membership, that the skills haven't changed in PDHPE. We have a reimagining, you've heard me say this a lot, a reimagining of PDHPE into health and movement science. Things will evolve, things will change, but the core skill that the kids need to succeed in the HSC is still there. That application of content is very much highlighted in this brand new syllabus. So skills like investigation, those research skills that the kids would work on in their depth studies will then be, the kids will be able to show a lot of knowledge with that because they've worked on that in class and they have that deeper understanding of content. And that's part of this reimagining of the brand new course, because for many of us, for most of us across New South Wales, it was very much surface level understanding of the PDHPE course. So things have been taken out. A lot of our options are no longer in there for the HSC. And what we're getting the kids to do is really build on their skills and knowledge with the content that we actually cover. So no longer do we have our 2 cores and 2 options. The kids have 2 cores, focus area 1 and focus area 2. And then we have our depth studies to really dive into. Now, at the moment, our exam specification doesn't specifically talk about a depth study, but of course, we're going deeper into focus area 1. We're going deeper into focus area 2 and or a combo of both. So a minimum of 2 depth studies for Year 12 HSC. So I would imagine that the kids will be able to draw on their knowledge, understanding, and content from those depth studies to dive deeper into that for for their exams, especially for those last two questions that we're seeing on the NESA website, where we look at that those higher order skills, larger content, deeper content that the kids can really refer to, and then use for those two questions that are on the exam specification. There is an annotated version of the exam, which I absolutely love. So you can see what's expected, what NESA are thinking at this stage. But please rest assured that things haven't changed a whole heap in terms of the skills that we're getting the kids to actually apply. It's really important that we're setting our kids up for success right from the very beginning and making sure we're hitting those skills along the way. So for section 2, very similar to what we have for CAFS, we have 56 marks in health and movement science and 55 in CAFS. And then in section 3, which is our higher order content, we have 2 questions and they're worth a total of 24 marks. Very similar to what we see in CAFS for our 25 marks for our option. No options in stage 6 HMS, but of course we have our 2 depth studies. So look, I think it's when you have a look, go onto the Curriculum New South Wales website and you'll see that things aren't a whole different. The kids still have to apply their knowledge and understanding to different sports, to different training, looking at prevalence and some statistics and trends around diseases and health, the healthcare system. Things are very similar to what we would expect right now. Of course, that idea of getting the kids to apply their understanding to a well-known sport, so using the sport as a context, that still exists for us. And when you look at the annotated sample, you'll see that. So things that you're used to, like looking at, we're going to really study some stuff on, marathon training or potentially speed or sprint work or rugby league or soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, netball, in different contexts, strength training. The kids will be able to draw on that knowledge and that content to then apply that to for different questions in the exam itself. In terms of, what we might see as being similar, we still have that, those glossary of keywords in there, all the way from our lower order glossary of keywords, all the way to our higher order, more difficult glossary of keywords that will test the kids. I love that the sample has provided us with the mapping grid as well. So you can kind of see where the questions are mapped. In terms of the last 2 questions for section 3, which is our 2 12 markers at this stage, there's a rubric like many of us would be used to for CAFS. So the kids have to answer in terms of how well they apply knowledge and understanding of health and movement science concepts relevant to the question, very similar to what we see in CAFS. Apply critical thinking skills to health and movement science issues or scenarios. And I see that being the differentiator. I see that's where the kids will be drawing on their knowledge of the depth studies to then apply their content knowledge and skills with that. Obviously, very similar to what we see for CAFS, communicate ideas and information using relevant examples, concepts and terms, and then present a logical and cohesive response. Very much similar to what we're used to. So I don't think you need to be too stressed about that part of things, and using your skills that you have developed over time to go, okay, well, this is what is expected, and I'm going to apply that knowledge and I'm going to apply those skills and show the kids what it's like in this new era of HMS. So very similar to what we see at the moment for that section, the option section, aside from that additional point of applying critical thinking skills to health and movement science issues or scenarios. So very similar to what we see at the moment with our option, but of course, really making it specific around issues or scenarios. In terms of what else is in there, look, things that you're used to seeing, graphs, visuals, statistics, a stimulus that the kids might have to read and then answer questions to. Again, those last two questions on the paper are higher order. So evaluate, to what extent, analyse, discuss, I would imagine that we would see. And when you have a look at the mapping grid in terms of the targeted performance bands, I'll quickly explain those for those of you who are fairly new to stage 6. So the markers, the exam committee set out the exam, and some questions are targeted to different performance bands, so our performance band descriptors. Some questions, the exam committee want the kids to do, to be able to attempt. So they might target that at, a band 2 to a 3. So most band 2 and band 3 kids should be able to attempt that and do pretty well. It then moves up to like a 3 and a 4, 4 to 5. They're starting to get a little bit harder. As we move up throughout the paper, we might see like a 5 to 6, from that 16 to 20 for multiple choice. So they're really targeting those higher order thinking skills and moving the kids and pushing them forward. Same as in our short answer, we might have some more entry level questions at first the kids can actually have a go at. And all of the questions should be, all of our kids should be able to attempt. But some of the latter ones in the paper, as you go through the paper, especially for those last 2 questions that we will see now, it will definitely be targeted at that 2 to 6 range. So really pushing the kids, really wanting to see those higher order thinking skills. So that really means we need to cater our teaching and learning to those skills and really make sure we're getting the kids to have the application of content knowledge, understanding and skills like we do now. It's nothing new in terms of the structure. It's tweaked a little bit, but same expectations. We have 5 minutes extra reading time, but those skills, those core skills that we've been working on probably since I was a student. Not so much the glossary, that wasn't, even it was in there, it wasn't always a focus. We still want the kids to be writing in a pure paragraph structure to make sure they kind of have that critical thinking, using lots of examples to show the marker that they know their stuff. So of course, in our Health and Movement Science membership, we will be bringing resources to help with those skills, to help with that understanding. And using my 20 years experience of HSC marking for 16 years, 5 years as supervisor of marking, scaffolds and templates to make life so much easier, you'll see in our brand new Health and Movement Science membership. So really building on those skills from year 11 all the way through to year 12. If you followed me along for CAFS the last 12 or so years, you'll know that embedding skills, working on that, those big picture skills that the kids will be able to use in year 12 will be part of our HMS membership. So not just waiting until HSC time, but really starting from the beginning, those HSC skills. So if you have been checking out a HMS membership, Rego for the current cohort is open, but it is closing on Wednesday at midnight. So if you want access to resources, ongoing support, not just a couple of courses that you might sit there and go, okay, well, this is good, but I want stuff that's tangible. I want resources, because that's what's saving, so much of your time. It is the resources that, does take time to develop for us as busy PDHPE teachers. So this reimagining of our brand new syllabus, brand new course, and I feel really excited. We have over 50, I think up to 52 HMS members inside our HMS membership. And if you have been checking it out and you're like, Kell, I just love what you've done for CAFS. I know and trust you because you've come up with the goods for CAFS. Health and Movement Science is up next alongside CAFS and all of our other resources and support across New South Wales. We can't wait to ramp it all up as we start to dive into lots more teaching and learning resources and activities to help you save hundreds of hours. So head over to learnnet.com/HMS. That's where it is. If you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out and join us tomorrow as I show you inside the actual membership, because of course, showing you something on the screen is a really great way to see what it's really like to work inside the membership. So again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have the best Arvo. Take care.